bomb gets nothing effect. Has that one taken away by Troy Hellman. It seems like this could be.
All right, guys, Brick McVictory here with Owl Recap. We have another Owl interview. Today we have Colourhex from the Boston Uprising. You guys played the Gladiators today, beat them 3-1. How does it feel to give them their first loss of the season?
It feels really good. We weren't the most confident going into that match because Gladiators have undefeated. Like, they're a really good team, but we played well today. I think they're the ones who didn't really show up that much though. So I was surprised. Even though all the maps were close, I thought they would. I thought they'd be playing better.
Do you think the premise of maybe going undefeated for the stage put a little extra pressure on them today?
Yeah, I think that was a lot to do with it, honestly. I don't really know what it feels like because I haven't gone undefeated, but I imagine at the very end, it's a lot of pressure. I can't imagine.
On Boston, you guys seem to have a history of coming back from being down 2-0, dealing with adversity really well and clutching fights. What do you guys think is the reason that you're so able to pull that off?
I think it's the team culture we have. Like, we've built like a really trusting kind of family type thing. Like, we try and not like be toxic, tilt, point blame. We try and like solve things as a team. And it really helps in games like that because we don't get tilted and we just try and move on. We just focus on the map at the time and don't think about the scoreline beforehand. And it just really helps us, clutch out these wins.
Take it one map at a time then?
Yeah, for sure.
You're actually the only player in the league that's from New Zealand. How does that feel to be representing your home country and being the only player from the league? And why do you think that you're the only one currently?
I think it's a almost impossible region to get out of. Like, I was very lucky to have. Boston was the only team that trialed me, so it was the only option I had. I was very lucky that they have some of the the best scouting in the league. I think there's definitely potential in a lot of players in that region, and I would say it's untapped, but it's a huge risk. Like, it always will be, and it always is. So a lot of teams aren't willing to take that. But I'm happy I get to represent, my country and region, and I hope I'm doing them proud.
Speaking of Boston's scouting, they actually have made a lot of roster changes from this year to last year. What do you guys think is the biggest reason you guys were so quickly able to find such the unit cohesion you have?
Again, it's the team culture we've set up at Boston. It's a slow, steady progression of up, and there's always downs. There's always downs with every team. Like, you lose a game you shouldn't, or maybe there's ups and you win a game you shouldn't. But it's just a slow and steady grind, and we try and have that positive family kind of orientation when it comes to practice and just team play in general, and it really helps us just improve at a steady rate.
This stage versus stage 1, we've seen a different variety of compositions, not just straight 3-3 GOATs meta. Do you think we're going to continue to see those changes, and what do you feel about the changes currently?
I don't really know what Blizzard plans to do for balance changes, but I would like to see more changes. I still think it's very, stagnant's not the word, but I think there's a lot more room for diversity, and it's it's almost impossible to get perfect balance. It is impossible, but yeah, I really want there to be more changes, and I think it's close. Like, I think at the moment it's pretty close. We see a lot, but Ghost is definitely just still like the be-all, end-all for the most part, and I'm looking forward to see how it changes in the future stages.
Do you think with the power of GOATs, the 3-3, do you think that role lock is something that Blizzard should consider? I've heard it talked about, but what is your opinion on that?
I mean, role lock, that's like a huge subject because you have to balance certain heroes because Brig would be worthless in role lock because she wouldn't be good as a duo healer. It's hard to say. Like, I think I actually have no way of saying. It might be more stagnant. There might only just be like 2 tanks, 2-2-2 that you can only run. But at the same time, it might end up being like map dependent because obviously some heroes are better than others on maps. I personally would like it just because I get to play DPS, but I'm definitely biased. So, of course. Yeah, it's something I can't really predict. You'll only know once it happens, if it happens.
Next season, Blizzard has announced that you guys will be geolocating back to Boston. Are you excited to play in front of your home fans? Boston is known as a very powerful sports city.
Yes, I've heard. I didn't get to go to Boston earlier this year because I was still stuck in New Zealand with no visa. The rest of the team did, but I've heard it's amazing, like really great, and the fans over there are amazing, and I'm super excited to play in front of like a big crowd and a crowd cheering for me. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I hope it's everything I expect.
With geolocation, do you think there'll be any difficulties that the teams may face?
Yes, I think it'll be super difficult, and it's always a learning process. Like, you don't see the problems until they happen. So there's gonna be lots of bumps in the road, but I think it'll be worth it just based on the Dallas homestand, because I saw some of it and the crowd was nuts. And like before the Dallas homestand, I was skeptical. I was like, is this really worth it? It's not going to work that well. No. After seeing that, it's like, this is like the thing.
All right, last question for you then. If there's something you tell your fans about yourself they may or may not know, what would it be?
I have really weird key bindings. I use both my abilities on my mouse keys, not my keyboard.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. My game that I played before this was Smite, a MOBA. And I used to have one of those mouses with like 12 keys on the side. So I'd bind everything to my mouse. And when I came to Overwatch, I was used to abilities being on the mouse. So that's kind of where it translated.
I actually do the same thing when I play. I put my abilities on my mouse
I get so much flack for it.
Just because I like to be able to move with my fingers and not have to push E or Q. Me too. I want to be able to move all the time.
I'm trying to press an ability and I can't move to the left while pressing that ability.
So
I get a lot of flack for it though from like team and like anyone really.
Maybe you're the trailblazer, man. You're the trailblazer. Well, anyway, guys, that's it here from Owl Recap. Thank you so much for your time.
It's no problem. Thank you for the interview.